And now, from fucking Zoom, it's the Alison Rosen is Your New Best Friend show tonight. Alison welcomes her guests. He's an actor, comedian, and host of Mystery Science Theater 3000. It's Jonah Ray.
Hello,
he's an
everybody.
He's an actor, comedian, and podcaster who once shared a scene with me on primetime network television. It's John Ross Bowie.
Hello, Tony and Allison and everyone.
Daniel Quantz is here, and even though it's another Zoom episode, he really thinks this one is gonna hug. I'm the bad boy of podcasting, Tony Thaxton, a nickname I absolutely did not give myself, inviting you to say hello to your new best friend, Alison Rosen.
Alison Rosen. Alison Rosen is your new best friend. Alison, with her good times never end. Alison Rosen, doing the wavy pencil dance again. Alison's your new best friend.
Hello, my little campfire marshmallows. Welcome to another exciting episode of Alison Rosen is Your New Best Friend. That particular carbohydrate was sent in on Patreon. By Ray Morgan. Yes, I'm on Patreon. You can get all sorts of fun stuff. You can get bonus episodes. We just did one with everyone's favorite, Betsy Sodaro. You can see videos. For example, you can see this very show right here that we're recording right now. You can,
Hell yeah.
There's a level where you can text me and I will text you back. You can submit carbohydrates that I will call the Thursday group. A tradition that started many moons ago. How does she keep straight which carbohydrates she has addressed people as? And make it fair that she doesn't, always choose one person's carbohydrate versus the other. You're probably not wondering, but if you are, I've got you and I'm going to answer that question. There's someone named Jess Flowers who has volunteered to be my carb czar, and she sends in a spreadsheet that I periodically check to make sure it's all fair. That's right. I'm giving you some behind the scenes, remember VH1 Behind the Music? This is behind the carbohydrates. No one wanted it. It's just as good.
Maybe better.
Thank you, Tony Thaxton. Anyway, patreon.com/Alison Rosen. Subscribe.
Patreon.
Get 2 months for free.
That's a good deal.
Yes, we are doing Zoom. It's my fault. I have taken 2 COVID tests. I am testing negative, but I'm not feeling well. I don't believe it's COVID, but still, given... Back in the old days, pre-pandemic, given how I feel, I would just suck it up and go to work, because that is what we did. Boy, this really sounds like uphill both ways in the snow.
Very, very, very right wing.
It really does. But now that we're all much more aware of germs, and my studio
Allison's
is
been red pilled since the last time I was on the show.
I think so.
That's where the money is.
Yeah, I feel like it's just the responsible thing to do before seeing someone in person is to let them know if you're not feeling 100%. And I am not feeling 100%. And I let everyone know that earlier today. And then I'm feeling even worse since then. So the wise decision was made that we would see each other on Zoom, even though Tony had a real temper tantrum about it. I had to talk him down. He's still kind of being a baby about it.
I don't know what a Tony Thaxton temper tantrum would look like.
Oh,
and
my
it sounds
God.
made up.
Oh my God. There's a lot of pouting. Let's see if I can find a text.
I mean, you're kind of not. She's not wrong about the pouting. And look,
It
I
just looks like Animal from the Muppets, right? That's just what you look like. When
There's
you
a
go
hint
through
of that,
yeah.
Let's see.
Don't get me wrong. I understand why, but I have never, 2.5 years in, I have not adapted to Zoom. I just fucking hate it. It's so unnatural to me. And
No, I hear that. I hear it. It's not my favorite thing either. It will set off. It will set off if my kids get COVID. It will set off such a domino effect.
Yeah,
that would fuck my summer so sideways. It would be striking. It would be really remarkable.
Yeah. No, and again, I understand. I understand why we're doing it. Yeah, that's all.
Also, if you get it, you can't work, which is a terrible thing. That's what happened to my wife, Deanna. She was feeling fine, but Both tested positive, couldn't go and get a job.
Eesh.
And then that's upsetting. That's the upsetting part, is that we can't contribute to the wheel of capitalism because of this.
There's no such thing as a sick cog. Got to be a healthy cog.
Okay, listen to just unhinged Tony just fucking unloading.
Start with a sigh.
Okay, Zoom it is. And then emoji of the smiley face with the tears coming out.
Oh my
I mean,
God.
can you even handle, like, talk about going from 0 to, 100 in a flash?
I guess on the Tony Thaxton scale, that's borderline abusive. But I mean, the scale, we're grading on a curve here, right?
Right.
Yeah. Tony,
And
what would
then-
what would that emoji look like IRL? If we could see that real quick.
Yeah, for oh my God, patreon.com/housemouse. And then I said, I'm so sorry. And then listen to this, maniac. It's okay. I understand.
Oh, so
I need to learn
passive-aggressive.
how to psych myself up for Zoom or something somehow. What an asshole, right?
Unbelievable.
I know.
believed that anything I was sending you via text message was going to stay between you and I.
I know.
Not part of
I'm
the
just
deal.
kidding. Tony's a champ. But no one likes Zoom. I think this is the right call, though. This is definitely the right call. But
I
now that
know,
we're
I know.
back to doing some in-persons, it has reminded me that no matter how great a Zoom feels, it is just not the same. Have you guys all found this to be the case for you as well?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, definitely.
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not fun. We did this past season of Mystery Science Theater over Zoom, and it not very fun. It's like super exhausting because it's just the amount of you're constantly on. It's like when you're in a room, you feel like you can just kind of zone out and still be a part of the conversation. With this, you zone out, and everyone just can see you blank stared like that. Just like Dave Foley in that New Kids in the Hall sketch where he's playing that song over and over, just death stare off to the side.
I haven't seen
That's what
it.
I don't like.
I haven't seen that yet, but I've seen so many people tweeting about Kith. And then I finally put it together. I was like, what is Kith? By the way, Tony did, but I have not formally introduced and said hello to everyone. John Ross Bowie, hello and welcome.
Hello, Alison.
Nice to see
Hello,
you
everyone.
again.
Hi.
Jonah Ray, hello, welcome
Hello.
back.
Hello. Thanks for
Dan-
having me back.
Daniel, hello.
Hello. Hello, everybody.
Tony, hello.
Hello, it's another Tony's Picks.
It's another Tony's Picks. Now, when I threw caution to the wind and said, let's really shake things up this summer, spring, more like spring. What month are we in? Spring, summer. Let's just get crazy. Let's just see what happens if I just let Tony take the reins. I decided to get crazy for 2 episodes, and now, am I right that this is our 4th?
Yeah, I believe so.
Our 4th. That's right. It's gone so well that it's stretched into 4 episodes, Tony.
All the listeners have said it's their favorite episodes ever, I think.
Yeah.
And, yeah. Said the
lot of
show's
people
never
saying
been
that.
hotter. That's the word they used. Hotter. It's never been hotter.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, everyone's talking about it. It's just been a wild success.
And do you feel you get to be a little lazier now that you don't have to? Yeah.
That's been the best part.
And
I think
nobody
that
thought that
was-
was possible.
Yeah, I certainly didn't.
Yeah, well, that's the thing about being lazy is like no matter how low you go, there's always another level. You can always it's like you can always whatever half of something is, you can always, mathematically, you can always keep finding less of it. You can always go in half even when it's like an imperceptible number. That's how
like going down the
laziness-
pillow aisle at Target. You're just you're like, no way, there's going to be a softer one than this. Hold on, walk a
Yes.
foot forward.
Right.
What? Yeah.
Right. I can always dig deep and do less. So, and I think that was
That's so brave of you.
Thank
So
you.
brave.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm going to be on the cover of People soon with a whole quote to that. And I think that was the pitch to Tony. It was, Tony, I'm tired. How about you do that? And here's a fun thing we could do. But he's just been knocking it out of the park. So anyway,
Oh, we'll see how this episode goes. We do not know.
we don't know anything. That's the fun of this. Anything could happen. I know we have some fun facts. We have a quiz that you guys don't know about that I have asked Tony to prepare, which really anything could happen. We have some other stuff.
Everyone's favorite.
The other stuff. It's the laziness. But the reason I think I might be sick, if I am, I don't know, is because Daniel and I went camping with our children this weekend. Now, I don't know if you guys are campers. We will get to that. We went on a camping trip with my kids' preschool.
Dude, you're sick. You have everything. You have hepatitis. You have smallpox. Dude, I wouldn't even have done this on Zoom if I'd known this.
I did see like little kids' snotty noses.
Wait, how many kids? Because I don't think I knew this either. I think I knew you were going with like some friends, but I feel like that's the way you had described it before. I didn't know it was like with the school.
It was with the school.
You would call these kids snot-nosed kids, right?
They were snot-nosed kids, yeah.
Yeah.
NSKs. I mean, SNKs. Damn it.
Sink.
But we were outside and they were like, knee level. So somehow I told myself like, oh, it's okay. But still, the
I would
germs
put
were
camping in
flying.
quotes too, by the way.
Yeah, well, that's what I want to get to. Because to me, it was camping. But I posted about it online, and oh boy, did the camping truthers come for me. Now, I suppose, sort of like on a spectrum of red turning into orange, all the colors are on a spectrum, and it's like where you decide one color turns into another. It's just where we all agree. I don't know where we decide camping turns into glamping or whatever. But my understanding of glamping is that it's like a comfortable experience.
I wouldn't call this glamping either.
There was nothing glamorous or comfortable about this experience. Hence, to me, this was camping. No, we were
Did
not.
you have a chair?
Daniel
If you have a
purchased.
chair, that's glamping to me. That's the ultimate.
Daniel
word, isn't it?
Where's their
purchased.
Wi-Fi?
No.
Yeah.
Thank
That's
you.
that's one in the nay category.
And there was also
Not even any
cell
cell
service.
service. Nothing.
Was there a tent that you had not put together yourself?
Okay.
Was there a tent?
There we
Period.
go. Okay.
No, there wasn't a tent. We were in like a mobile home motor.
It was a tiny, tiny mobile. It would be like a
mobile
tiny
home.
prefab cabin mobile home thing.
on
That's hard to
wheels?
describe.
Hence, that puts it in the glamping category, but you had to turn sideways to walk past another person to go from one side to the other.
Yeah, everything was very tiny. Like
we
I
did
think
have a
that's not
toilet.
camping. I think that's just slumming it.
yeah, basically, it was slumming it at an RV park. Like it was
Yeah.
it was at a place where people set up shop for about a month, and there's tons of RVs, and then there were like little areas where you had people who weren't in RVs, but mostly it was an RV park.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
That's not camping then. right?
yeah, it didn't feel like camping to me. Plus,
Yeah.
it was in an area that was pretty lowland, so it was very, to me, like, not that
Well, I
defines
can't believe
camping,
on my
but
own show I'm getting camping truthered.
to me, camping has to be, for me, it has to be somewhere that's not scorching
Okay,
hot.
To me,
Daniel.
if 5 of those kids didn't somehow die of dysentery, I will not consider it camping.
Did you at any point resort to
They did.
cannibalism?
Yeah.
We were
Thought about it.
prepared to if we needed
about
to.
I was sizing everyone up. Like how much meat's
Daniel
on the bones.
he did make jokes about it.
Going
Okay,
around
then
pinching kids.
what is it that we
Tenderizing.
did? If that wasn't camping, and then what was that? How
Stuck
would
in
you?
traffic.
Oh, that was brutal.
It was.
Oh shit.
I would say it was just like a bad hotel experience.
Yeah.
You are as bad as them. Anyway, it actually, my feeling is camping to me. Look, I know this. I know I know so many people who love camping, and this is very like opposite of how they feel. and I feel like a caricature saying this. However, it's just like we have gotten to a place where we don't need to make ourselves so uncomfortable. And it just seems like opting to challenge yourself and be very uncomfortable. And why do that?
So you can appreciate the times you are comfortable, right?
I guess.
And this is me as a person who doesn't camp. And the thing I make myself most uncomfortable situation is I stand in a cold shower for 5 seconds at the end of my super hot long shower during the drought. That's how I make myself feel uncomfortable. But like, I think that's sometimes the idea.
Yeah, I mean, I guess exercise in a way is kind of that. Like, that's challenging yourself. You know, although, like, and again, this is not truly camping, but like when I was lying, so the bed was in this room that was like maybe
The size of the bed.
the size of the bed, yeah. And I was lying on it and I was so exhausted from like getting up there and getting set up in the tiny place. And I was thinking, you know, if the kids weren't there and I was just with Daniel and I was like lying there looking at the stars, I could see how that could be a pleasant experience. And I remembered having gone camping on a school trip when I was in 7th grade and that being pleasant. But something about having 2 little kids, 3 and 5, those are just the 3-year-old. I mean, it was just tough. So John, you have kids and you don't camp with them.
Last time we went camping, we ate something wrong.
Oh no.
And we were genuinely camping. We were in a tent that we pitched ourselves, and 3 of the 4 of us woke up around 5 a.m. in distress.
Oh no.
Oh, wow.
In circumstances that were not ideal to be in that kind of distress. And we have not been camping since.
Were you throwing
that'll
up?
Stop you.
Yes.
Wait, what?
We
Wait,
were
what?
throwing up. There were a few
You were
things
throwing up?
going on.
Both
There were a few
up,
things
up
going
and
on.
down.
Oh.
Up and down.
It was coming out everywhere.
It
Oh
was-
no.
I was prolific.
Oh God. Now that sounds miserable.
It was
What
not
did you-
okay.
What did
Poet's
you do?
still right about it.
Yes. There's a horror. I don't know how well your ancient Greek is, but there's a wonderful epic poem about it. It was really rough, and we were up in like the mountains. There's like campable areas if you take the one all the way up past like Malibu and past Leo Carrillo and stuff. There's some really nice campgrounds up there, but I mean you're out there. You know, your phone does not work, and it was really, really unpleasant. I'll do like there's a place up the coast a little bit near Santa Barbara called El Capitan, which is poser camping. You know, that's glamping. That's
I was looking at their website and I was like, if this is what when people are accusing me of glamping, by the way, I don't know why my entire identity is now tied up with like, I was not glamping. But if this is what people think I was doing, that's not what we were doing. There was not an alarm clock in the room and there was not like that seems very
There's Wi-Fi, there's an alarm clock, there's a
Yeah.
designated fire pit. If you can't get a fire started, you go down to the the snack shop at the base of the hill and you buy these little fire starters, which are basically like chipped wood covered in wax that go up immediately.
right.
They're wrapped in
seems
like a paper
fancy.
bag and they immediately go up, you know, really easy. So there's nothing resembling roughing it. You know, your food tastes a little more open, airy, but that's it.
Let's do some fun facts.
Ooh.
Jonah, could we hear a Jonah Ray fun fact?
Something that I've never said before, huh?
Well, it doesn't. I mean, I don't know if that is not typically the parameter, but I love an exclusive.
I don't know. I'm trying to think about what would be considered fun and also factual. But how about? I don't know. Can John go first?
Sure.
Because, like, you know, I have a tendency. I think the last 2 times I've been on this show, it gets like real fast, and I want to try and keep it light. And I'm afraid I always what Kyle Kinane says about me is I retreat into sincerity when I don't know how to be funny. And so let's have John go first, and then maybe
Okay.
I'll come up with one that's fun.
Okay.
Let the record show that there are less endearing traits in modern comedy than retreating into sincerity, Jonah. And I've always found that kind of pleasant about you.
Yeah. Just to release the pressure, you don't have to be anything other than yourself.
as long as it's entertaining.
What?
Yeah, you can just be. That's
What
the
have
fun
I been
of this
doing
show.
for my entire career?
Yeah.
Yes.
I have a cool new tattoo. This was
Ooh.
dumb.
Ooh.
Let's
This
see
was
it.
dumb. I probably shouldn't. You get to an age though where you're like, listen, the older I get, the less likely it is that any director is going to ask me to take off my shirt. So fuck it, you know. But I got this. I think you can make it out here. And for those of you who are just
Alison
listening at home,
Rosen, Patreon subscribers.
that is
This.
the Unisphere from the 1964 World's Fair,
Oh, nice.
which was held in my native Queens. And it is the World's Fair where my parents met.
Oh,
Oh.
Now,
That's so cool.
now, did that
Allison,
marriage
which
end in
World's Fair
divorce?
did-
Yes, but without that particular World's Fair, where they both found themselves giving tours at the Ford Pavilion. That was the first year the Mustang was rolled out. But without the 64 World's Fair, there is no me. And also the theme that year was peace through understanding. And that fair contained the debut of the It's a Small World ride.
Oh yeah,
Wild.
Oh, wow.
I've read about that before. I forgot about
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
So I got the Unisphere, which is still standing. It's right there. The World's Fairgrounds are still there out in Flushing Meadows near what was Shea Stadium and what is Citi Field. But you can visit it, and it's very photogenic.
I love that.
The first tattoo?
It is the third. I've got my kids' Hebrew names on the inside of my arms. There's Baruch Zev. That's blessed wolf. That's my son. Not his name is Walter, but for the purposes of his Hebrew education, he has a Hebrew name. And then Batshir, which is daughter of song. We're talk about sincere. You want to talk about how we're raising our kids? You want to? I'll see your sincerity and raise you. We're raising them fairly culturally Jewish. My wife is Jewish, so they're ethnically Jewish. It being a what is it? Matrilineal religion, I believe is the term.
Yes. That
You're
sounds
welcome,
right.
Patreon. So they're getting bar and bat mitzvah and the whole deal. And I just thought it was a nice thing. Like, it seemed like the sort of tattoo that I wouldn't regret my kids' names, and it connects me to my wife and her heritage, and it just seemed like a fun thing to do. So yeah, that's probably it.
So,
Three's
John,
probably it.
and I mean
Jonah.
this with like no ill will. When these kids eventually rebel against you and your wife as their parents, and they like say they don't want to be living a life, just as that happens, as kids rebel, are you going to then start working out? So every time they start to like do something that's not becoming of their Jewish heritage, you just have to like pull up your guns, lift up your shirt.
Yeah.
Just go, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna put some real gun behind the Hebrew and really let them have it. Also, I can always get it, covered with like some vines or a butterfly or whatever you do, like when you get your first wife's name tattooed and you have to fix that.
Yeah.
I have a friend whose body, I'm not gonna name him. His body is the museum of regrettable tattoos. He has all of them. He has Celtic symbol around his navel. He has ex-girlfriend's name. He has Chinese character. Maybe it's the right one. Don't remember. He's got a fourth one that's like, it's not like the Chili Pepper Mother's Milk logo, but it's of that genre of regrettable tattoos.
Well, I think we need to hear the fun fact. Sting.
That's a fun fact.
Thank you.
It's pretty fun. It wasn't bad.
Is that the Living Spaces jingle?
Sure is.
It is.
Okay.
It's Jackie Johnson. She can do the Living Spaces jingle. And so then we had her sing like a lot of stuff in that style, because why wouldn't you? Wait, so I have a
Tony
question.
Braxton.
Nice.
So John, but you are not Jewish, right?
I am not. It's a popular misconception that I am.
Wait, what?
because of because of me. But no, I was raised Episcopalian, which is if you're not really familiar with the various schisms of Christianity, it's it's diet Catholic basically.
Mm-hmm. And so raising your kids, wait, you said you're raising them culturally Jewish, but
Yeah,
also
I mean, we don't
religiously
keep
or
kosher.
no?
We
I
don't
see.
we
We worship Jesus Christ as our Lord and Savior. It's like we don't like we're just
given.
culturally Jewish.
Yeah, no, obviously, we remind them every evening that there was this carpenter who died for their sins, but we like a bagel. Who doesn't like a bagel?
But to get that, so just the reason I'm curious because my last
Oh, I
name is
bet,
Rosen.
yeah.
Like
How old are your kids?
3 and 5.
Oh shit. Okay, so yeah, we're getting to the point where like we should eventually talk about this. Like they're 12 and 14, my kids.
Mm-hmm.
So we've already got one bat mitzvah in the rear view.
Right.
Yeah, it's an ongoing discussion of like what are we? What do we believe? And they're kind of sorting some stuff out themselves. But it's there's a lot of really lovely stuff in Judaism. I love a Seder. I have always loved a Seder. I love the idea of the new year starting in September. And people having apples and honey to wish for a sweet new year. There's just a lot I dig about those traditions, so it's a fun thing to be a part of, which is a very shallow way to talk about a 6,000-year-old faith. But
Well, I mean, but it is also a culture. That's the kind of the stickiness of it. It's like it is everything you described, and so much of it is just like it's like. That sounds great. Like it's like, yeah, let's celebrate. It's like we can people celebrate Cinco de Mayo or some kind St. Patrick's Day. It's not necessary. I'm not any of those nationalities or come from those cultures, but I love that we get to partake and celebrate. And also, you're while you are not Jewish, Jonah, that is a high anxiety clock behind you, or just it's just the album cover. It's the soundtrack. For High Anxiety, the Mel Brooks movie.
Unless I'm mistaken, that particular album also has some stuff from Blazing Saddles and the producers on it.
On the back, it's like a greatest hits. So stuff, so from 12 Chairs, producers, Blazing Saddles,
Hope for the best, expect the worst.
Expect the worst, exactly.
You've got Blazing Saddles and the Lily Von Stroop song. That's all killer, no filler. That record, I know that record.
And then the High Anxiety stuff is great because High Anxiety is probably it's my favorite Mel Brooks movie. It's a fantastic.
He
song.
sings it quite well.
Anxiety, but this is signed by Mel Brooks. When we had him on the Nerdist, we went to his offices, and I was very nervous.
I listened to that one. That was amazing because that was like 10 years ago, and you were explaining to like an 80-year-old man what a podcast was, and it didn't go great, but it was really interesting.
Yeah, he was exactly what I wanted him to be. It was amazing. He was drinking out of a little white paper cup, his water, just like I see in every time he's in his office. There's always every picture, every footage. It's like he always has the cup, and I gave him the record to sign. And he's like, yes, I'll sign it. Yes, I'll sign it. And he puts it down. He gets a Sharpie out. And then he writes, he met me and Matt Myra at the same time, along with Chris. But Chris, of course, he'll remember the name of. And then he puts it down. He's like, okay, to Matt. Fuck! And then we all start laughing, and then he's like, I'm sorry, you're Jonah, you have the Jew name, he's Matt, he just looks like one. And I'm like, this is great. No, just cross out Matt's name, and then finish it. So yes, it's to Matt, crossed out Jonah, all the best, Mel Brooks.
I think we just kind of snuck in Jonah's fun fact.
There's a fun fact. There you go.
That's a fun fact.
Hey,
that's right.
Yeah.
Should we go with that fun fact, or had you thought of another one you want to?
You already gave him the sound sting.
I already got the sound sting. Did I get past it?
I mean, if you want, sure.
No, I could just point more. That's like that's signed by Brian Henson. That's a little wiener puppet that I got when I did Puppet Up at the Jim Henson Studios. So that's nice. This is
Is that a Chucky doll?
It's a Chucky doll that I was sent during when they were promoting the new Chucky series, and Deanna, my wife, hates Chucky.
I'm not so fond of him.
Yeah, and it's like, they're really fun movies, and the show's really good. But they sent us this, and I knew it was going to be very upsetting. So when I leave for trips now, I hide it in certain spots so she can find it.
That's great.
That's horrifying.
Yeah, it's now conditioned her to be a little better.
I don't know how I feel about that. I think it might be time for what could be a very ill-fated quiz. Tony, should I explain this quiz or should you explain this quiz?
Whatever you want. It's still your show. It may be Tony's picks, but it's still your show.
You said Tony's picks?
I did say Tony's picks, and I
Is there
meant
a
to say
jingle for
Tony's picks.
Tony's Picks.
That's right.
Worth
okay.
going back for.
So, John, you wrote a book about Heathers, right?
Yeah.
And I forgot to talk to you about that when you came on the show on our one-on-one with Tony, our two-on-one. Heathers is a movie that I watched like repeatedly when I was young, although it's been many, many years since I've seen it, but I loved it. Jonah, have you seen Heathers?
Yes, I love Heathers.
Okay.
I love it. Yeah.
Daniel, have you seen it?
Oh yeah, long time.
Okay,
ago.
good. Tony has not seen it. So I
Well,
said,
hasn't seen Heathers, really?
I've never seen Heathers. It's one of those
Interesting.
that just
It is big
snuck
fun.
by me my whole life. Yeah.
Yeah.
so
of
I
those.
suggested to Tony, why don't you write a Heathers quiz for us? So he has put together a quiz.
So someone who's not seen the film has
Yes.
put together the
Yes.
quiz, and he's going to
Yes.
quiz me or everybody.
Everyone.
Great.
I
Uh,
haven't, I
Because
haven't
I
seen
wrote
it
the
in a
book.
while.
I wrote the book on the film
yes.
11 years ago.
And none of us have seen it recently, and Tony has never seen it. So this is going to be amusing.
It
It'll
doesn't
probably
matter if like John hasn't seen it in a while. He wrote a fucking book on it.
He'll probably win.
Yeah.
Well, watch me fuck this up anyway. I don't underestimate my ability to disappoint you, Jonah.
Listen, quality is not important on this show. Fun is.
Great, fantastic.
Silliness.
And the thing
then
is,
set me up.
as someone who has not seen it, literally pretty much all I did was just went to the IMDb trivia, and so a lot of this is like who knows? That's not necessarily always reliable. Some of this could be bullshit, but that's what I went because I don't know any better. And some of this
One
is a little...
source, Tony. I was hoping you would have, used microfiche.
Well, if someone didn't ask me 30 minutes before showtime.
I was
okay.
just expecting the amount of energy you put into researching the albums on your own podcast, but I
Yes.
guess you just care about that one a little more.
Fair
Right.
enough.
Right.
You know.
Right. Okay. Do we think they need pen and paper? Probably not. I'll keep score over here. Okay.
No, it's just
And no
it's-
cheating. Nobody goes to the IMDb page.
That's
It's,
right.
Yeah, it's it's just quick. They're short. A couple of them. Yeah, you'll see. I'm not going
Do
to.
we ding in? How are we going to do this?
Yeah, because I decided to not go multiple choice on these. So if you know it, just jump in. I guess.
If we could do the hand raising tool.
Let's just wait.
Oh,
Who
wow.
disappeared? No one did. I don't know how the tool.
We use the hand raising tool in the Zoom writers room for MST. So it's like if you have a riff you want to pitch, you raise your hand. Then I pause the movie that we're sharing on the screen, and then someone says, "What if they said that?" And we go, "Ha ha, moving on."
Wait, where's the hand? Let's not do the. I'm thinking let's not do the hand raising, both because I don't know how to do it, even though I could probably figure it out, and because it's an audio show. I say let's just say your name if you know it.
Okay.
Shout your own name.
Yeah, I already have too many things to look at on my screen. So,
Fair
all
enough.
right, here we go. Again, could be all bullshit. Could be real. We'll see what happens. These could be easy questions. Everybody knows they could be super hard. I have literally no clue.
It's been like
Again.
12 years since I did my homework, but let's see what's up.
The
let's see how
fun
we
is
go.
that Tony doesn't know what he's asking. How many questions are there, Tony?
It's 5 questions.
Okay, and we're gonna need quiz sound effects, please.
Okay, well, this is going to be slightly tricky because I have a million things on my screen, but here we go. Question 1. The book that suicidal students supposedly underlined meaningful passages from was Moby Dick. The producers could not get permission from the book they wanted to use, so Moby Dick was used instead because it's public domain. What book was it originally going to be?
John, Catcher in the Rye, I think.
That is correct.
Okay.
All right, John.
Good
Yeah,
point.
there's a whole thing there, and like the Salinger estate, famously cool guys, were like, "Yeah, no, we're not gonna. No, you can't. Absolutely not. No."
Moby Dick it is. I like that they just like didn't even try for anything else. They were just like, it's like Moby Dick is free. It's like every cheap TV show I've ever been on. They're like, this is public domain, so let's just have them reading.
You ever done like a Halloween episode on a cheap TV show?
Oh,
those
all
are the best. The
I love
costumes are
watching
always
those.
like, pirate, nurse.
Yeah, it's like it's the one thing that just is so disconnected from reality when you see something and like it's like no one's a pop culture reference. You're like, this is fake.
Everything just goes out the window. But then if you do something that's like a Disney property or something, and their Halloween episodes are bonkers, it's the amount of IP on the screen is crazy. But if you do like a tiny little show on a really low budget, man, it's always just like, I guess that's a witch.
Pirate, ghost pirate, witch, army man, and then there's, but then like in Last Night in Soho, I thought like that was like they had the Halloween party scene in that movie, and I was like, okay, but then they showed there was like the three mean girls were dressed up like the girls from The Craft, and I was like, okay, there's your pop culture reference.
So was naming Christian Slater's character JD, was that like an homage to Salinger?
It was half an homage. It was his name is Jason Dean.
Oh, right.
And it's Jason Dean because he's not James Dean. He's like a copy of a copy of a copy of a copy. And they thought the funniest name for that kind of progression was Jason.
Yes. I have to
It's
read
also
your book.
funny because the names in that are all they're all virtually obsolete. Like nobody names their kids Heather anymore. My daughter doesn't go to school with a single fucking Heather.
Right.
There are no Heathers. There's no Bettys. There's no Jasons. Like every name in that movie is fucking obsolete.
Right.
They might come around again, but they might as well be like Agatha.
Yeah.
Mildred, Agatha.
Yeah. Although I know a baby Agatha.
Is that the full name?
Baby Agatha, yes. Whatever happened to Baby Agatha? John, what is your book?
My book is it's just sort of a half like behind the scenes how it was made and analysis of the film from a bunch of different angles, like how it was shot, what the color schemes are in it, how it was scored, the various performance choices in it. It was part of a series of books. This editor, Sean Howe, wanted to publish a series of books. I know him. Films that, do you know Sean Howe?
I mean, I lived in New York, and I it's been years since I've seen him, but I've met him before and sort of.
Wait, when did you live in New York?
From, I moved there in 2002, and I moved back in 2010.
Okay, all right. So that's after I had left. But yeah, in the years before I left, both Sean and I were writing for the New York Press, which was like the scrappy little alternative to the Village Voice, right?
I wrote for them a little bit. Jeff Corrin, was that?
Yeah, that sounds right. Yeah, Jeff Corrin was an editor over there, and John Strasbaugh, Andrei Slivka. The rest of that masthead was bonkers, though, because it was, what's his face? Jonathan Ames. Who went on to do Bored to Death. Mike Doty from Soul Coughing was writing both his own stuff and some he's writing under a pseudonym called Dirty Sanchez. Amazing people working over there. Anyway, Sean wanted to do a series of books on films that are not usually written about, like not your Citizen Kanes or your Seven Samurais, but like stuff a little bit further from the beaten path of cultural criticism. So I picked Heathers, and there's a great book on The Sting. Jonathan Lethem wrote an amazing book on They Live, the John Carpenter movie, which is my my second favorite after mine. There's one on Death Wish. It's a fun series.
So this is like that book series 33 and a Third,
but for cult films, yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Nice. Yeah. So wait, what year was this came out? You said 12 years ago?
Yeah, it came out. It would have been 2010. Yeah.
Because I vaguely remember him talking. I feel like he was talking about this series when I met him, or just from following him on Twitter.
He might have been,
I'm like putting it together.
He was a really hands-on editor, not in a bad way, but he just really had some really great insights. And made the book better, and in general made me a better, more diligent writer. Sean Howe's a good guy. He wrote a great unauthorized history of Marvel Comics, which is required reading because it's a real warts and all situation, and you get into like the messy copyright stuff and everything.
Right.
And as such, he had a hell of a time getting interviews with people, but it's a good read.
Bet. All right. Next question.
Next question. Question number 2. You guys were talking about people named Heather. What real life Heather was originally offered the role of Heather McNamara?
Allison. Heather Graham?
That is correct. Again,
This would have been like fresh off of playing Mercedes Lane in License to Drive.
Yeah.
Corey
Yep.
Classic.
Her parents really did not like the material and wouldn't let her do it. She was still a minor.
Oh, wow.
so you did know.
Interesting.
Was
I
she a
did know,
minor?
yeah.
Is this one that
Wait.
like everybody knows, or was this?
No, that's a deep cut. That's
Okay.
a pretty deep. I think it comes up on like a DVD extra, but that's not.
Hold
super
on,
public.
though. Her parents disapproved of the content of Heather's, but she plays like a drunk girl that gets like put into like a trunk in License to Drive, which came out before this.
I don't want to get into her parenting's her parents' priorities. That's not for me to say. Listen, I don't think her parents and I share the same values is all. Doesn't really matter because 9 years later she was doing Boogie Nights. So what are we even talking about? But yeah, she apparently was all set to do that. And it didn't pan out. Yeah.
Here's a fun fact for you.
Uh-oh.
Ooh.
Sometime in the next month, I am going to have a very tiny part in a scene with that same actress.
Really?
Yes.
That is a fun
That's
fact.
a fun fact.
Can't say more than that. Probably shouldn't have even said that. But
Boogie Nights
that's
too.
what makes it so fun.
Famously cool to work with. Famously cool to work with.
Nice.
I've heard nothing but good things. Real sweetheart, apparently. Yeah.
Her parents are letting her be in a scene with you?
Yes.
Well, she's like in her 40s now, so
So she's emancipated. All right. Number 3.
All right, number 3. I have a feeling this one is a gimme, so get ready. Get ready with your
Okay.
name. What is the name of the fictitious
Jonah,
band?
Heathers. I'm sorry. Was the question going to be what is the name of the movie we're talking about?
I'm sorry, Jonah. No. But you did not lose a point. I'm going to say you don't lose a point there.
Thank you so much.
What is the
we're not
name?
doing Jeopardy rules where he must pay if he has the audacity to be wrong.
Name my
whole
book, by
contest
the
is
way. That's my
bullshit,
book,
Tony.
The Audacity of Wrong.
You're not wrong.
I followed up with my father's nightmares.
Okay. Are we ready? Get ready.
Yes.
Ready.
We're ready.
What is the name of the fictitious band that performs Teenage Suicide? Don't.
Jonah.
already said it.
You already said it?
No, you already said it,
Yeah,
Jonah,
big
earlier.
fun.
Ah, there you go. I didn't
Hey.
even notice you said it.
I was just saying that this game was going to be big fun as a fun reference. to
Oh,
the-
see? And I didn't get it because...
Yeah, yeah.
Because you don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah. And speaking
All right.
of that, question number 4. And here we go. There's
This is like that time when there was a black flag question on the old Jeopardy and Alex Trebek had to ask it.
I got to be. There's another fun fact. I got to be an answer on Jeopardy.
Really?
That's right. I remember when that
cool.
happened.
Yeah.
What was the answer?
It was Mystery Science Theater 3000. What is Mystery Science Theater 3000?
That's so cool.
yeah,
That's a
really.
fun fact.
Tony,
There
your
it is.
fingers are on fire. I love it.
okay. So this next question, there is no way any of you will know this. So here we go. Before looking all of this up on IMDb about a half hour before the show, what actor or actress did I discover that I legitimately had no idea was in this movie?
Oh,
Ooh, I
I'm going
like
to guess
your, I like
John. I'm going to guess Shannon Doherty.
Nailed it.
Really?
Yeah.
She's the Heather who went on to the most stuff.
Yes.
Of the Heathers, like who aren't immediately associated with the movie, she's the one who went on to do the most stuff. So yeah. I figured that would be your shock.
Yeah.
And you know what? She's excellent in it. And allegedly, it's because she didn't realize it was a comedy, so she plays it straight the whole time.
Wow.
I was shocked and saddened, and I'm sure this doesn't go into question 5, to discover that Kim Walker had passed away. I didn't realize that.
Heather Chandler had passed away not very long after the film.
Right. I didn't know that. That's sad. All right.
Thanks
so
for bringing us
John
down.
is in the lead. What'd you say?
Yeah.
So thanks for bringing us down, Alison.
What Alison just did is what like Kumail is so good at. Like every time like we'll like talk about some movie and then he'll like later that night he'll like text goes to say, remember the really funny guy from Galaxy Quest? The black actor guy? I was like, yeah, he's like, did you know what happened to him after
motorcycle accident?
He has a motorcycle accident and he's been in a wheelchair ever since. And like he's like, he was so good, but it like kind of like he couldn't.
No, he's on one of the NCISs.
Is he now?
Chill Mitchell. He's on one of the NCISs.
Oh, okay,
he's
good,
a
good.
lab tech.
Great.
It's going okay.
Okay, good.
All right. This is the last one.
This is
for
the last question.
potential win.
This is question number 5. Now, keep in mind here, I was given very short notice of preparing this quiz.
I get where you're going.
And so I was kind of
So
like
upset it's on Zoom. So upset.
I couldn't find
Right.
something I felt satisfied with. So again, I only think there's a possibility of maybe 2 of you potentially being able to get this question.
Right.
So here we go.
So
But this legitimately came up on IMDb, which blew my mind.
Hang on. So what you're suggesting is, if you'd had enough time, even though you haven't seen this movie, you would have put together some other kind of amazing quiz?
Well, if you've ever listened to the very popular podcast Bizarre Albums, I'm great at doing lots of research.
You do your homework. Guy does his homework, Allison. He gives a shit.
Right.
So yeah, I didn't have a ton of time to Google things, you know.
Oh
so
my
I just
God.
IMDb.
Can we get it, Tony?
You asked me a question.
Allison, you should have made this about the Heather soundtrack. Then Tony.
You're
would-
right.
There it is.
You're right.
Okay, so here we go. The 90s ska band Edna's Goldfish recorded a song called Veronica Sawyer after the main character of this movie. A former Alison Rosen is your new best friend guest from the Thursday show was the singer of Edna's Goldfish. Who was it?
You'd think I would get
I
this.
know. Only 2 of you, I think, would even have a chance of getting
Edna's
this.
Goldfish is, I'm having a real Obi-Wan moment of that is a name I've not heard in quite some time.
Long time.
Did Edna's Goldfish ever make it inside to Ned's atomic dustbin?
Eventually, they all do.
Yeah, exactly.
You only get like a few weeks, really.
Wait, say that again. One of my Thursday show member guests was.
It was. I will. Here's your
was a
hint. Only
singer?
a one-timer. It was a one-time guest,
Okay.
and was the singer of Edna's Goldfish.
Wow.
And I will say, Jonah, you're the only person that I felt like might be able to guess this. I thought actually you would, besides
Allison?
Allison.
Brian Diaz?
Yeah. Oh,
Got it.
Uh-oh.
There you go.
Man.
There you
That-
go.
Uh-oh. John and Allison are tied. Do you have a
Uh-oh.
tiebreaker?
No, I don't. I could go.
Let me guess. Because you only had half an hour?
Well, you want to go a completely different route? I can give you some music trivia question that's not related to Heather's.
All right, and it's a it's one that if anyone gets it, they win the whole thing, right?
Wait,
No matter what
how
their
do we get
points.
there? What happens?
Once their points, it doesn't matter what the points is. It's now or nothing. What do they call that? Sudden death.
Yeah,
Okay,
sudden
sudden
death.
death question. Here we go. Lightning round. Sudden death.
No, I
Jonah's
don't
back
think
in, baby.
No, I don't think so. I think we need a Heather's question.
Whoa!
I don't have any.
I'm sorry. Did you spend 5 minutes putting together this game,
I know,
or
by the
did
way-
Tony?
Notice how she's outsourced the whole show,
Yeah.
the entire show.
I sent...
I'm happy to share the crown.
Okay,
I
fine.
also, and we could be like, we could
And all
do,
three of us can share it. Okay, that's
well, hang on, no, Jonah, sit down. But I mean, this could be like Premier League rules where we tie this one, and if somebody else loses, then depending on our previous record, we'll advance.
I don't do
No,
sports.
it doesn't have to make sense. It's
Explain that to
Premier
me.
League.
Well, the whole plot line is Ted Lasso.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Oh, I did
it's fine
I did
if we
enjoy
tie. If
Ted
somebody else
Lasso.
loses, one of us could advance.
Okay. So does that mean that I have to keep this going on another show?
Next time.
Ideally.
1 year from tonight, let's all remember to meet up
Okay.
and finish
All
the
right.
game. Tony will have had ample time to make
Yeah,
a
Tony, you
satisfying...
have a year.
Yeah.
Whenever drought-stricken fire landscape Los Angeles looks like 1 year from now, we're going to hang out.
Remember, it's the individual's responsibility to save water. Just remember that, everybody.
I know.
Listen, women are at a higher risk. Oh, that was wonderful, Tony. Thank you.
Smashing
Congratulations.
success. It ended with no winner. I mean,
It
yeah,
ended
what do
with
you-
two
what do you-
winners. Two
Well, okay.
winners.
You say 2, I say 0.
Congratulations. Wonderful game to my fellow competitors. Daniel, I expected a little more. Listen.
I really don't know a lot about that movie.
Women are at a higher risk of poor sleep quality and sleep deprivation due to hormonal changes that disrupt the circadian rhythm, negatively impacting overall health. This can later lead to hot flashes and night sweats. Hot flashes and night sweats, and up to 85% of women making sleep seem impossible. And even if you put the cell phone down, which is something that's very hard for me, and turn the lights off, your body still needs one final trigger to let it know we can sleep now. This trigger is a decrease in temperature, which hacks your primal response. It convinces your body that it's finally bedtime. And this is where Chili Sleep comes to the rescue. Their team helps people from all walks of life achieve better sleep, whether you're a new mom or know a mom or just hate tossing and turning in sweaty sheets. Chili Sleep makes customizable climate-controlled sleep solutions that help you improve your entire well-being. So they make the Uller and the Cube sleep systems, hydro-powered temperature-controlled mattress toppers that fit over your existing mattress to provide your ideal sleep temperature. These are luxury mattress pads that keep your bed at the perfect temperature for deep sleep, whether you sleep hot or cold. These sleep systems are designed to help you fall asleep, stay asleep, and give you the confidence and energy to power through your day. So this is this amazing mattress topper. You put it on your bed.
I've been wanting to try these.
It's
so
amazing.
badly.
Yeah, me
Yeah.
too.
It's so it's got this like unit. It has water in it, and it keeps your bed at the perfect temperature. You set it. You can cool it down. You can heat it up, and you will sleep like a baby. But we all know that babies actually don't sleep well. So you'll sleep like a baby that actually sleeps well. You'll be so comfortable. As part of the overall scientific study conducted by Wake Forest researchers, Chili Sleep's cooling bed products were shown to significantly reduce the frequency of night sweats by 86% and the frequency of hot flashes by 64%. It's just I like to have my bed really cool, and then I like to have a heat pad on me. I like a hot. It's ideal. I like to be very customized, and this allows me to get there.
You're like a McDLT when you sleep.
Yes.
We were all searching for the analogy. and
Thank you,
nailed
Tony.
it.
You're welcome.
Head
I
over
had
to-
some time to research that.
Head over to chilisleep.com/bestfriend to learn more and save 30% off the purchase of any new Cube or Uller sleep system. This offer is available exclusively for Alison Rosen's Your New Best Friend listeners and only for a limited time. That's Chili, CHILI, sleep.com/bestfriend to take advantage of our exclusive discount and wake up refreshed every day. Okay.
Are we ready for my pump up the volume contest?
Ooh.
Oh my God. And then our Gleaming the Cube contest. Okay.
Ooh.
Do you remember that movie? Because I don't. I
yes.
just know the name.
Oh, yeah. No, I did a triple feature screening at the American Cinematheque Egyptian where I showed Gleaming the Cube, Rad, and North Shore. Which are all
I stand to be corrected. Gleaming the Cube has the all too rare Tony Hawk appearance.
Yeah.
Acting role.
Too rare.
There's my mom's house. There's my dad's house. And there's my Pizza Hut. Right on.
There's also there's a Dickies reference in there because they're going over Anaheim and then one of them starts singing Stukas over Disneyland.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, I know that. I know Gleaming the Cube.
I am a big fan. Big fan of Gleaming the Cube.
Okay. Daniel, can we tell them about the couple that we saw at dinner on Wednesday?
Yes.
Okay. Wednesday was my birthday. I am a year older. We went out to dinner and we sat outside at this restaurant. We were the only people sitting outside. It was kind of cold, but I'm not ready to sit inside yet with other people's germs.
She
anyway,
says as she sniffles.
well, I'm with my own germs right now. Well, but had we been together, everyone was rapid tested beforehand. Although, look, there's questions of how rapid tests work on this, etc. Anyway, so we're sitting inside, and we're sitting outside.
No.
We're
start.
sitting out. We're sitting outside, and we can see through the windows into the bar area of the restaurant. We went to Fleming's in Pasadena, like a steakhouse in Pasadena. And this is not important to the story, but when you have very young kids, I feel like any chance to go out to dinner without the kids feels like a nice break, because kids
it feels like first class.
Yes, exactly. But they get to so for my birthday, when they were very young, I would have wanted to just go out with Daniel. But it's getting to the point where they're sort of at the age where I'm like, it'll be nice to have the whole family. Or so I thought. I feel like the 5-year-old is like, it's nice to, he's pretty easy to take out to dinner. The 3-year-old though
Can't take him anywhere.
Let's just say on the way back to the car, he sat down in the street.
The middle of an intersection.
Yes. It wasn't the middle of the street.
Wow.
It was somewhere close to the curb, but it still was the street, and just sat down because what was he upset about? Because he wanted to push the button on the crosswalk, or I don't know. So why did I tell the story? I don't know. It was a bit of a fraught night. But anyway, so Daniel says to me, "Do you see that couple inside at the bar? Like, just clock them, because I want to tell you about them in a minute." So I turn and I sort of notice them. So anyway, it's this. What would you say they were like? Somewhere between 55 and 65.
60. Yeah.
Blondish couple. They're sort of wearing kind of preppy-ish white clothes. They look like maybe they go out on a boat sometimes. And his hand, they're sitting at the bar, and they're like very into each other. His hand is on her thigh. That's right. And they look like they're on a first date, and maybe they met online. And she is wearing a wedding ring, and he is not. And so instantly I'm just like, what is going on?
Very curious.
What is going on? His hand's on her thigh. Her hand is like up his shirt. They're like DTB, down to bone, at the bar. So we are sure that there's no way they're actually married to each other, because what's going on with this public display of like very much being all over each other? So we decide, and I'm just going to say it right now. I recognize the following story does not reflect well on me. But I'm like,
this judgmental story you're telling right now? Or?
Yeah. I would just like to say part of the reason Alison was sure that they were a fresh new couple was because of the way they were into each other.
Yeah, that's what I assumed
heard
she
that.
was hinting at. Yeah.
I heard that subtext.
Okay, good. Just as long as everybody caught that.
so I don't know where this idea came from, but it suddenly seemed like again, this is the part that's going to reflect very poorly on me. Suddenly seemed like a great idea to take pictures of them, hire up a PI, and have it be an ongoing thing on the show to figure out who are these people. Are they married or are they not? I'm telling you, I realize how insane that sounds now, but I was like, we'll make it a bit on the show.
I mean, it's a
because
write-off
it's so
because
insane.
It's entertainment.
Yeah,
So
because
it's
True.
because it's so insane.
that's its
like,
own podcast.
Who
You gotta-
would do that? Who would do that? It'll be a fun thing to do on the show. So
Yeah.
then Daniel is like, because we had like a chummy relationship with the waitress at this. I mean, they were like practically
They're mere
penetrating
feet.
each other at the bar at this point. So
And as the crow flies, I mean, there's a window there. They were probably 3 feet from us. So even
Yes.
though they felt like they were sort of
8 feet.
alone, we were right there.
yeah. Yeah. We were like, we could have just handed them a condom if there wasn't glass in them. And not that we have them on us, but now why are you making a face to that? That's gross, but everything else is normal?
Go on.
Not anyway. So Daniel says
Just like, I like the idea of just like flicking the condom over. It's like, here you go, bro. Be safe, no matter how old you are.
Yeah. She definitely like
well, if they
past
just
the
met
age where you need that. What?
that I mean, yes, I know, but if they just met, look, it's about
You know what
safe
I
sex.
thought watching them? I'm like, he's probably like a politician. Like they had that vibe of like OC.
They
or-
did have an Orange County vibe.
They had an Orange County vibe.
And you
So-
could hide out from your constituents if you drove up to
Right.
Pasadena.
Yeah.
Right.
This all tracks.
He's somehow a politician.
Because I was gonna be like, it's like, but that's right on Colorado. That's like
Yeah.
you can't hide away from City Hall is literally 3 blocks away from there.
Yeah.
Pasadena City Hall.
We're
But
very
if they're
close.
from Orange County, well, hey,
Yes, yes. Alison was thinking of it as a bit on the show. I was thinking of it as a bit of blackmail, potentially.
oh,
Have you ever tried that? It's
blackmail? Not that I could say.
no, I haven't either, but it sounds lucrative.
So anyway, so then Daniel says to our server, see that couple in there? They've got to be on a first date, right? Because look at them. But she's wearing a wedding ring and he's not. What is the deal? And then she was also like, oh my gosh, you're right. Like, let me find out what's going on. So she was super, I mean, she would have been a listener if we had started this insane podcast. So then she goes and Daniel's like, oh my God, she's talking to like the bartender. And then she comes back and she's like, they have a daughter together. So sadly, that poured water on our whole podcast
Ruined
idea.
everything.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah. And then, but it raises a whole other set of questions.
That Daniel has for me and my feelings
Which is
about
like-
our own marriage.
They're clearly been together a while.
Those
How are
two.
they this into each other? Like I feel like
How old's
they
the daughter,
probably
though?
they probably just went to
Right.
some sort of retreat or did something where it's like how to rekindle the spark.
Yeah.
You know what I think? Cancer scare.
Oh.
There we are.
Yeah.
Yeah, dark
Hey,
but
you
reasonable.
know what? It's okay. I'm in the clear. Let's go to Fleming's, our favorite restaurant.
Yeah.
And let's do it like how we used to do it, in front of everybody.
Yeah.
It could just be like an empty nest thing where now that the daughter's left for college, they're rediscovering each other.
Cannot wait.
I know. Yeah. Yeah.
I do remember, like, after my brother went to college, and I was like my first day of school after he'd already left. So I was, just me. It was me and my parents in the house. And I remember getting home, I think earlier than they thought, and they were naked in the pool. Yeah,
Ooh.
That's fun.
So yeah, it's like I was like, there's really no way to feel like more invisible as like a sibling, where you're like one of the older one was out of the house and they were just like, we did it, empty nest.
What did you do?
I like just waved like I didn't notice, and then went up to my room and felt shame because I was raised Catholic.
Right.
My
Yes.
mom and stepdad were always naked. They were just
Really?
they would sunbathe in the backyard, and so if I had friends come over, I'd have to they'd knock on the door and I'd have to say 1 second and do a hippie parent check.
Oh yeah.
Make sure that no naked adults or no pot loose.
Oh yeah. Pot was always
Sure.
around. Yeah. And
Yeah.
I'd always say it like it's like my friends would be like, "Is that weed?" And I'd be like, "It's like I don't know. I think the neighbors smoke it."
Phenomenal.
Yeah.
Well, listen, but I want to get back to this in a second because I feel like I need to say a bunch of things to try to reclaim my good name, even though I think it's too late. I want to talk about HelloFresh. With HelloFresh, you get farm fresh, pre-portioned ingredients and seasonal recipes delivered right to your doorstep. Skip trips to the grocery store and count on HelloFresh to make home cooking easy, fun, and affordable. That's why it's America's #1 meal kit. HelloFresh is 72% cheaper than dining at a restaurant. It's even cheaper than grocery shopping. That's money back in your pocket. HelloFresh's newest menu release includes Mediterranean recipes that are filled with fresh fruits and veggies, nuts, olive oils, and fiber-packed whole grains for nourishing balance. HelloFresh chefs really know how to diversify your dinner menu with seasonal spring recipes like sweet heat shrimp tempura bowls, garden spinach ricotta ravioli, and one-pot creamy lemon dill chicken soup. That one-pot creamy lemon dill chicken soup is so good. I love the HelloFresh meals. I love when they arrive because I know that I don't have to go to the grocery store, be able to cook something that's relatively easy to make, super delicious, and it also I feel like it exposes me to things that I wouldn't think to make on my own, and it kind of makes me feel like Rachel Ray, or think of the chef on TV. Substitute with any chef on TV where they're like
Contessa.
Yes. That really
Solid
any
pull.
Emerald.
Thank you.
Bam.
Whoever.
Emerald. That's another
Bam.
one.
That's right.
Salt Bay.
Gianna De Laurentiis.
Yes. Bobby Flay. Maybe not him. No. Alton
Chef
Brown.
from South Park.
Another one. Yeah.
HelloFresh has fit and wholesome recipes for satisfying and nutritious meals that you can feel good about, with 6 recipes per week to choose from, including low-calorie and carb-conscious options. Go to HelloFresh.com/bestfriend16 and use code bestfriend16 for up to 16 free meals and 3 free gifts. Again, that's HelloFresh.com/bestfriend16. Use code bestfriend16 for up to 16 free meals and 3 free gifts. HelloFresh, America's #1 meal kit. Okay. So anyway, look. I'm not some kind of anti-romance prude.
We're really going back to this.
Still on this.
Yeah, we are. I just
Segway
think,
be damned.
I just think, what are you trying to prove? I don't know why I'm still talking about it. We can move on.
Do you know about any the term shadow self?
Yes, I'm quite familiar.
Yes. Do you think that's what's happening here? Are you jealous of them?
Oh, that my shadow self wants to
be able to
be porked on the bar at Fleming's.
You're like, it's my
Finger porked anyway.
It's my birthday. It's my birthday. I'm full of steak, and Daniel hasn't once tried to shove his tongue down my throat and grab my leg.
That's right. There is something about what they were doing that felt so free. Like,
Really?
they're not worried about getting home to anybody.
Icked out.
They're not. Well, it wasn't
Or-
like we saw another
you were hoping
couple.
you wished your kids were there so you could go, there's children here.
Yeah,
My kids were there.
they were there.
Oh, they were there. That's right.
were there.
Yeah. You're like, Fleming's is a family establishment. You started to sound like Sylvester the cat.
We once went to what was it?
Oh,
Palm?
the Palm.
We once went to the Palm.
Yes.
And the one in Beverly Hills has these booths that are like on a bit of a riser from the rest of the dining room. And this couple, another like,
Old
what is it with these randy, like late 50s, early 60s folks? This couple got in there and he started finger banging her right there in the middle of the dining room. Everybody was uncomfortable. All the wait staff was like keeping a wide perimeter while they did their business.
The health
and
code
finished
violation.
up. It was
So
erotic.
crazy.
It was
The first time after moving to Los Angeles, the first time like me and a friend of mine who was in a band, we were at some bar and we met some people and they're like, hey, we're all going to a party up in Malibu. And I was like, that sounds wild. Like I've never, like, this is like a thing, an LA thing I thought would never happen to me. And so me and my friend go to this party and it feels like a Malibu party. It's like super, super wealthy, super hippie at the same time. And then there was some dude playing guitar in the like living room area. And then there was just a like a guy massaging a girl in front of him and then eventually finger banging her. And people watched like it was performance art. And I was like, I think, when you feel you're like super fancy free and then like you're kind of confronted with something and then you're like, am I a prude?
Right.
Like it's like sometimes when I hear like about a friend of mine, like just like people like swapping partners, like thruples and all that, I go, whoa. And like, but like I'll talk a big game about how I'm really like sexually liberated. And then that happens and I just show myself. I just go, wow, who can imagine?
Suddenly you're dressed like a Puritan.
Yeah,
a big
exactly.
buckle on your hat.
Yeah.
I mean,
I think that's what's happened to me. I've reverted to like prepubescent, where I'm just.
I don't know that
icky,
we're all in
grody.
the same general age range, and I think the generation above us, or the boomers, were way more libertine. Is that the word? Like than I mean, I feel like because of the combination of like AIDS and just all this stuff that happened, we became much more prudish as a result than that older generation, which maybe something like that was more common in the 70s, 60s.
And look what came after. Like, every kid just started going like, it's like, I am no gender. I fuck everything. Like it's,
Right.
or I don't fuck at all. And then like, it's like, we don't even want to drink booze. We just
Right.
want to have like, mocktails. It's wild. They're doing everything different. It's supposed to be
everything.
Damn it.
supposed to be with one person and drinking and sad. Hey, Allison, you get what I'm talking about.
I get what you're
It
saying.
worked for my father.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Tony,
Yeah.
did I hear correctly that you have a Just Me or Everyone?
Oh yeah. I mean, it's not that exciting. I didn't know you were going to set it up like that. You were just.
Here, let me do it differently.
Okay.
I think it might be time for Just Me or Everyone.
Sometimes I ponder on something I have thought or done. Is it just me or everyone?
All right. If I remember correctly, last time we didn't get to yours, Tony.
Yeah. You
But I
turned to
heard
me.
it sucks.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's not. You don't normally set it up like that, so I was thrown. I thought, I went and saw fucking Paul McCartney on Friday. I thought maybe you were like, hey, I saw you went to. I thought we were going to talk about something fun like that.
Oh,
But,
yeah. Well, I actually, now that you say it, I did want to ask about that because you said you cried a lot. And then
Oh,
also,
yeah.
I just remembered,
Yeah, it's Tony.
John, did you go to Renn
It's
Faire?
Tony in the last several years.
I did go to the Renaissance Fair yesterday, and we go. We go every year that there isn't plague beating down our door.
But
So
wouldn't
this
it
was our
feel
first time since 2019.
Wouldn't it feel more right to go
Right.
I know
And this-
you're absolutely
at
right.
the height of the pandemic?
You're absolutely right. You're absolutely,
Yeah.
and there were more plague people dressed up as plague doctors
The
this year
lawn.
than ever before with the lawn beak that
Oh.
was alleged at the time was filled with like herbs and spices they thought would beat off the virus.
All right, here's what we're going to do.
Okay.
We're going to hear about the Renaissance Fair. Then we're going to hear about Tony's Paul McCartney experience. And then we're going to hear Tony's Just Me or Everyone.
I don't get to talk about going to the Goth Fest, Cruel World.
And then we're going to hear about
The what?
Cruel
I went to
World.
Cruel World at the Pasadena Rose Bowl.
Okay.
All I want to talk about is that I didn't go to Paul McCartney. I went to the Circle Jerks where the tickets were let's say $1,000 cheaper.
Yeah.
But yeah, the McCartney show looked fun.
Okay. All right. Well, quickly, how was your Renn Faire experience?
Oh, it was lovely. It was really nice. It's a family tradition because my wife used to work at one
Oh,
in
wow.
upstate New York, and so she knows people. She still knows people on the circuit because it's sort of they're called Rennies the way people who work at carnivals are called carnies. There's a circuit there, and she did a show. She created a show about it that ran for one season on Lifetime. It's very much her. It is her. I was in a band in my 20s, and she was in the Renn Faire, and there's an argument to be made that neither are particularly cool, really.
But I bet though
they're both
Rennies must fuck so much.
Rennies fuck a lot.
Yeah.
Rennies, because they all look, and it's such a body positive scene.
Mhm.
But like I was standing at the pretzel line because I'm authentic as hell. I was standing on the pretzel line, and this guy came over to these two girls and another guy, and was just like, I just had to come over and say, you guys are so cute. And they were like, we were just saying the same thing about you. And I was like, fuck, this is on like right in front of me. This is happening right now in front of me. Yeah, it's a sexually charged atmosphere.
And when it gets towards the end of the day, you really start to feel like the heaving of like, it's like, some of them have started to drink a little more mead because like their shifts are done and they're just waiting for the last civilian to get out the gate. And then it's got to just be Gomorrah.
That last pub scene leads to some stuff.
Yeah.
Things go down. Bodices are ripped. Yeah, but it's filled. We take the kids, and it's fun. It's really it's just and it's also really cool because actually you Jonah, you've gone as you and Deanna went as Bill and Ted one year, right?
Yes, yeah, we went
great bit.
And we didn't realize we were going on Time Traveler Day, but apparently people do that quite often. And so there was a lot of Doc and Marty's.
Doc and Marty's, Doctor Who's,
Doctor
all
Who's,
eras,
and like Star Trek characters and stuff like that. But we went as Bill and Ted. It was super fun.
Yeah, it's a fun. It's just a really fun atmosphere. I eat disgusting food all day. I try to wear enough sunblock. I wore a kilt yesterday. Which was actually a great idea. It was really comfy. I didn't like free ball it underneath, but it was really comfortable to have a kilt on and not like it was even, it's just like a breeze. You get like a little bit of a cross breeze going that way.
I remember the first time I went, like I was doing like a bit with Jordan Morris. It was just like we were doing some,
I love Jordan.
We were doing some man on the street thing where we were just running around, and I was just like, this is actually pretty fun. And he was like, yeah. So we were done with the thing. We're like, let's just keep hanging out. And like it's like we had a blast, and then the next time I went was with like Deanna, and like where we did the Bill and Ted, and I was like, I don't want to I had that idea of just like it's just like I'm not gonna dress up, and then the one year I was like, fuck it, I got there early, and we like rented the outfits, and it's so much more fun when you dress up.
It's so much more fun. It's funny. I had the same thing. I had this whole progress in my Renn Faire experience over the years, because as I said, we've been going for years. Where initially I was like, I am not dressing up. This is dumb. This is too dorky even for me. I draw a line. And then I turned, I was like, okay, I'm still not dressing up, but I'm not going to wear any logos. I'm going to just be sort of nondescript. I'm going to hang. Nobody needs to see my, Slater Kinney shirt pulling everybody out of the moment. I'm just going to, blend into the background. Okay, maybe a floofy shirt. Year by year, a floofy shirt with like the big strings. That's like essentially a blouse, but like But yesterday I was blouse, kilt, whole nine. I got
the loot.
I got a sporran, which is that little essentially that fanny pack that you wear in front of a kilt where you can keep your all your shit. I went all in yesterday and felt great.
You start to feel like if you're not dressed up at a Renn Faire, you feel like a nerd.
You really do feel like the asshole after a point, You really do feel like you are going around deliberately yucking somebody else's yum, which is no way to live, Go along to get along. And you get, it's nice because it's such an appreciative crowd. So people are like, hey, that's a great looking kilt. Where'd you get it? I was like, I got it at Off Kilter Kilts. They're right by the entrance.
Oh my God.
And this is the official tartan of the state of California. Bet you didn't know we had one. And it's a delight. Yeah, it's great.
Wait a minute. You got it at Off Kilter Kilt by the entrance. So you wore pants there and then changed into a kilt?
No, he just wore underwear.
Clear. I got it a couple years ago at Off Kilter Kilts.
And then second question, what did you, and this is personal, but what did you wear under the kilt? Like just like tidy
boxer briefs.
Got it. Thank you.
Boxer briefs.
Good to know.
So I would have support, but not be constricted, and there would be no chance of like the mouse getting out of the house.
Right. Smart. Daniel, did you have a question?
When you're walking around, is your wife like being critical? Like, okay, this is a good, but they're not doing this right.
Oh, because she's a pro.
No, she's pretty inclusive, and like we lived through like 2007, 2008 were what we called the Bluetooth years, and those really took you out of it. That was a shitty time. And now that they've got like really strict smoking restrictions, even the vaping patrons or platrons It should by if you're a patron and you dress up, you're called a platron. There's a whole lingo. It's a whole thing.
Wow.
But the platrons who are vaping are tucked off in a corner, so they're not bothering anybody. The Bluetooths are gone. You're always going to have somebody
Bluetooth, like they're wearing the little jawbone.
Yeah,
thing?
like the little earpiece that you
Yeah.
used to wear in like around 2010, and that used to really kind of jar you out of your complacency. But every year it gets more diverse. It gets younger. There's some much older people. It becomes just more and more capital I inclusive in a wonderful way. So you get people dressing up like, oh, Japan had a 1600s too. Let's see what that looked like. What did Africa look like in the 1600s? So there's a bunch of really interesting culturally specific cosplay and more of it every year. It's awesome.
That's rad.
That's cool.
Yeah.
What was your wife's show called? The Lifetime one about the Renn Faire?
It was very much based on her experience as a young Jewish woman getting sucked into the life, and it was called. The show was called American Princess, and we would joke that the Jewish was silent. See, that kills. That always kills. She just walked into the room. But yeah, she did 10 episodes on Lifetime. Genji Kohan produced
cool.
it. It ends on. It has a certain amount of closure to it. It you wanted a second season, obviously, but it was.
Yes, but it absolutely, it's a perfect 10 out. It ends it's got a great ending.
It has a great
That's the way
ending.
to do it.
It really does. It has a
'Cause you
really
never
there's
know.
enough ambivalence to it that you're like, oh shit, that happened.
It's not ambivalence. What do
Not ambivalence, ambiguity.
you not a good seller.
Anyway,
I'm
it's
sold.
available-
I wanna go see
It's available on iTunes for $19.99 and Amazon.
It's like $29.99.
Why is it more expensive on Amazon? Bezos.
I don't know. It might be more. What am I doing here?
Indeed.
All right. And Cruel World, Jonah?
Oh yeah, I was able to get a last minute ticket to Saturday's Cruel World, which was a kind
Did you
of
dress up
80s
as Peter
goth.
Murphy?
I did. I did. I tried to dress kind of like, I was like, at first I was like, should I wear a black shirt to this goth fest? And then I was like, nah, I'll just wear like a normal thing. And I showed up and I just looked like all the Devo fans that showed up, at the show. But it was like, it was a festival and I was by myself, just kind of wandering around from stage to stage. It was really great, really fun. Saw a bunch of bands I don't think I would have ever gone and seen, bands I would love to see, like got to see Christian Death. I got to see 45 Grave play,
Oh my God.
their song, from Return of the Living Dead. I got to see, what's the Save It for Later, English Beat, and also played some General Public songs and seeing just white people in their 50s skanking along. It was great. Violent Femmes, Public
wow.
Image Limited, Blondie.
How was PIL?
They were great.
Yeah.
They were there was really strong show. And I was like, I wanted so badly. They didn't play any of the songs I really wanted to see, like Seattle or Rise or Angers and Energy, but that stuff, because I wanted to go see Violent Femmes. But it was like, for the most part of the festival, it was like one of those things where I could just get from one to the next without really having to sacrifice. And then as everything kind of started piling up towards the evening, it just you had to start making those decisions. And I only ran into two people I know.
That's it.
Yeah, old.
Very
pal.
alarmed to hear that.
Yeah, it was kind of, super wild, but it was kind of nice and freeing. I just felt like I was no one or nowhere and no time, just
nice.
kind of walking around. And then I ran into Ed Salazar, a good old pal of ours, and then
Saw him posting about that.
yeah, and then I ran into Reggie Watts in the dance tent, and then I was just we talked for a while and danced a little, and then I went to go see Devo, and then on the Jumbotron behind Mark Mothersbaugh, off to the side of the stage, Reggie Watts is up on the side of the stage watching from there. I was like, yes,
Of course.
of course.
You went by yourself?
Yeah, just by myself. Just had that single ticket, and it was very, very, very fun. And I rode my bike there because I live in Highland Park, so it's like I zoomed past all the, all the traffic. It was fantastic.
Nice.
Sat down to eat a slice of pizza and talk to a bunch of people that just sat down too. It was a nice time.
That's cool.
Lots of goths though, and it's the goths and the punks. You could tell, the goths are smarter than the punks because, the punks are just frying in the sun in their, sleeveless shirts or their shaved heads and stuff like that. But all the goths brought parasols, and so they were, they were perfectly shaded the whole time, so their makeup didn't run. It was wild.
They can also do a mesh shirt, and nobody's the wiser.
Right.
Yeah, it was wild.
Wow, everyone went to big festivals. We just went non-camping. Tony, what about your show? Your expensive show.
Yeah, it was incredible. I'd never gotten to see Paul McCartney before, and obviously chances.
I trust he opened and closed with Spies Like Us.
Of course, yes.
Pretty much just for Jonah.
It was I'd never gotten to see him, and yeah, he literally turns 80 in a month, and
Crazy.
time is like there can't be too many more shots to see him. So I was like, I better do this, and I almost still didn't, but a friend had an extra ticket, and so I ended up going, and I'm so glad that I did. And I as we were about to leave, I was like, oh yeah, I'm probably gonna cry a whole lot tonight, and that's exactly what happened, because everything makes me cry now. And yeah, it was a combination of things. Of one, I'm seeing Paul McCartney play Beatles songs, and among other songs, but I'm a huge Beatles nerd, so that was amazing. And then also just this is a new thing for me, is I will also now cry often when I just see a large group of people enjoying themselves.
Yeah.
Oh, I got so emotional at the Renn Faire, dude. I got so fucking emotional at the Renn
Same
Faire.
at
I
Cruel
get
World.
it.
And seeing people just dancing to like Bauhaus and like just like freaking out, and I was like, my heart was swelling. It was amazing.
Yeah. Same. I mean, I don't even know 60,000 people or something like that, and like seeing Paul McCartney and like he's playing "Hey Jude," the entire crowd's singing it a lot. Like, that's a pretty fucking cool moment to be in. Literally, I have goosebumps just saying that out loud right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was amazing. And I think when he played Something, that like really got me, because I'm a big George guy.
Which song did he play?
He played George. That's a George Harrison song, isn't it?
Yeah.
Man, yeah, that would have hit me too.
Yeah, George is my favorite, and and I love that song, obviously. But yeah, George loved the ukulele, so he starts the song just him doing a different version on ukulele, and then it eventually transitions into the normal arrangement. And yeah,
Did he play Temporary Secretary?
he did not, but the DJ, your boy Chris Holmes, the DJ that opens
Holmes,
for him, he did play it. So
That's great.
yeah,
That's a wild song. If
it
anyone's never heard
sure
it.
is.
It's real wild.
I don't
It's
think
like
I know
you
it.
go like, it's like someone would be like, what is this blippy weird like song from like the late 80s, and you're like, this is
I think it's early.
Paul
I think
McCartney.
it's like 80.
No, exactly. No, it's like 1980. Like I think he recorded it in 79. But if you just heard it, you would be like, it's a 1979 Paul McCartney song. And you'd be like, no way.
Yeah, he's like he was on all of the drugs when he made that record, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, it was incredible. I'm so glad I went. I can't stop thinking. Literally the next morning, because I knew like my family wanted to see like so I was trying to be in the moment and just enjoy myself there. But I had to take a couple videos because I wanted to send to my family because they were asking me to. And literally the next morning when I got up and was sending them videos, I started crying again.
It's wild because it's like such a cultural, just huge cultural, global thing, that you can talk to anybody about and they'll know what you're talking. So it's just super, and plus being there, like when everyone's experiencing the same thing at the same time, like that's always like, that's kind of what it's all about. One of those moments where you're just like, the connectivity of everyone being right now. Cause isn't that like Nirvana? Isn't that like heaven on earth? It's like when you're in the present moment with like, like what's going on in the environment. And then that's what's so beautiful about those moments when everyone's singing, you're like, we're all right here, right now. It's just fucking great.
Yeah.
It seemed like a lot of people we know were at, excuse me.
Yeah. And I knew
at that show
ahead of time. I was thinking, I was like, oh yeah, I know a lot of people that are going. And I was like, I wonder if I'll run into anybody. And then I'm like, this is like 60,000 people. I'm not going to run into anybody I know. And then literally like 10 rows in front of me in the exact same section, Jonah and I's friend Dave Lyons was sitting in the same section. So
yeah, that's fine.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Where were your seats?
They were far away. Yeah, Paul McCartney's about a centimeter tall.
Still though, that's
but yeah, they were far. But like, I was just thrilled to be there. Because the seats already were insanely expensive for those. So like, I can't imagine how much good seats cost.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was looking at who was going on Instagram and making my Eat the Rich menu. So,
and dude, that place even just to park anywhere around that place is insanely. I parked for $100.
What?
Yes.
Whoa.
Was that
it was SoFi, right?
Yeah.
was that a legit parking, or was that like some guy charging?
No, it was a legit. It was a full-on parking lot,
Jeez.
and like all of them were like that. I think the cheapest one because did some research ahead of time. The cheapest one was like $60, and that was sold out by the time I looked. Wow, it's insane.
Is there any public transportation? Is there a train that goes by SoFi?
I don't think so. It looked because I did look into that, and it all seemed like pretty difficult. Yeah, it's terrible. And I've heard it wasn't just that show. Like I've heard that is just the way it is if you go there.
Damn.
Yeah, I don't know how people
Wow.
do it. Well, yeah.
Well, you know what, Tony? We're going to have to hold your Just Me or Everyone
Let's
to
do
the
it.
next show.
Let's do it.
What?
I know, because okay, so I used to do a segment where I would feature an adoptable dog. I think I called it Dog of the Week because my friend and returning guest of the show, Laura London, who's a dog trainer and Animal Planet star, was working with a Downey animal shelter. And so she would send me dogs that she wanted me or recommended that I feature. And we actually got some of them adopted out. She's not like in that capacity right now, but I don't know if you guys have heard this as well, but like apparently it's crazy at the shelters right now. Shelters are really overfilled with animals.
Yeah, I've heard that.
I saw this post that was so bleak. It was a picture of an animal shelter, and it was like all the crates lining up the hallways, talking about how like there's like, just crates packed with dogs that they don't have room. They've run out of kennels, so now the dogs are just in the hallways in the crates. And normally kittens are adopted right away, but even kittens, it's taking like twice as long to adopt them out. And people are being faced with the choice of like either they can find a place to live or they can keep their animal. And it's just very, very bleak. And then we were talking to Kathleen, who is our dog sitter, who was watching Wendy while we were on our camping, in quotes, trip. And she was saying that she was sort of talking about just how bad it is as well. Because, all these animals that were adopted during the pandemic who have all these behavior issues, now that people are going back to work, people are having problems. And so they're like returning them to the shelter. Anyway, long story short, it's bleak in shelters. They're packed. Like you can, shelters even normally you cannot get puppies in shelters. There's even puppies now. So I want to bring this segment back. I want to feature adoptable animals. In the meantime, though, I just want to shine a light on some rescues that I recommend. And we have a little song. Tony, we should have talked ahead of time.
Play it and then
This
fade
song
it down
is-
a little bit while you talk.
What'd you say?
Play it and then fade it down a little bit while you talk.
Yes, because yes.
Mm-hmm.
Look at that.
Look at that.
Okay.
Look at me knowing my job.
You are a dog, dog. You are a dog, a doggy dog, 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 dog. That's what you are.
So anyway, a shelter. Excuse me, I misspoke. A rescue that I want to recommend if you're in the LA area is A Purposeful Rescue. They come highly recommended by Kathleen. Just look them up, A Purposeful Rescue. And they're also on Instagram at A Purposeful Rescue. I was looking at their website earlier. Lots of adoptable dogs there. And listen, if you're out there and you work at a rescue or a shelter and you would like me to feature you or specific dogs or cats or whatnot, let me know. Email me at ariynbfshow@gmail.com. Did I put an extra @ sign in there?
I think people can figure it out.
I think they can, right? Or tweet me at ariynbf on Twitter. Great. Okay. Listen.
I thought you're gonna highlight some dogs.
No, I don't have specific dogs to highlight right now. I just have the rescue
your dogs
to
at?
highlight.
Yeah, where the dogs at?
I
Let
let
the
them
dogs
out.
Oh, for God's sake!
Well, listen, if someone Daniel, go to the website and name some dogs. A purposeful rescue. Tony,
Here,
cue up the
this-
music.
Barnaby,
Yeah.
Clayton,
Rufus.
Sklunturft.
Yeah.
Splinter.
Oh, he's still there?
Yeah, I mean,
Wow.
can't get dubbed with that name. And he acts just like his name sounds. Adolf Hitler Jr. There's a lot of wild names on the site.
Dr. Dre DDS.
Are you going there?
John Ross Bow Wowie.
Which is closer to the actual pronunciation than a lot of people get, I got to tell you.
That's a good point.
All right, let's see. Meet our dogs. I'm going to meet their dogs right now. There's Ace. He is...
We're gonna need the
By the way, if
music.
you look for Meet Our Dogs, if you just Google that, you get, do we meet our dogs in heaven?
Oh, okay. Atticus. There's Broomhilda. There's Calvin. Desdemona. Enid. Oh. Fairfax. Fayette. Gelato. Goldfish.
Our listeners enjoy
Gelato shit again.
Yeah, one of the things, by the way, is there's lots of puppies in these rescues.
With poop on your butt.
Yeah,
They should
just go to
give
the
a bunch to the
website.
Renn Fair and just have dogs wandering around so it feels even more authentic to the time.
Yeah,
I like that.
Or there would be no problems.
snow pea.
Chewing on corpses.
Yeah.
Thank you, Daniel.
A fine selection of names.
Bringing it to life. Yes,
This
I
isn't
would-
my segment.
Okay. You guys, thank you so much for listening. If you enjoy what you're hearing, or even if you don't, please leave us a nice review, 5 stars on Apple Podcasts. Make sure you're subscribed, and follow me on social media at Alison Rosen, and listen to my other shows, Childish and Upwardly Weekly. Jonah, where can we find you? What should we look out for? Plug all your stuff.
Right now, the 13th season of Mystery Science Theater 3000 is available on its own platform. Go get the MST3K app on any of your app stores, and you can watch. We have it's like an app called the Gizmoplex where we have classic episodes. We have like new episodes airing every month and new shorts. And there's a new crew that come in that is like just started doing their episodes too. So it's a lot of fun. It's like it was like paid for by fans, and we're giving it right back. So that's all there now.
Awesome.
Who's this new crew?
It's Emily Marsh is playing Emily Connor. She is the new test subject, along with Kelsey Brady, who's the voice of her specific crow, who's a very great and very funny puppeteer. And Connor McGiffin is her Tom Servo, who's just amazing, probably one of my favorite Tom Servos yet. No offense to my Tom Servo, Baron Vaughn, but and then there's also another Mad that's been added, played by Yvonne Freese. So it's a real fun crew, lots of energy, really really funny stuff.
Well, that's really cool.
Yeah.
John Ross Bow Wowie.
Hello.
What about you? Where do we find you, and what should we look out for? And you do all your plugs.
I remain at John Ross Bowie on Instagram and TikTok for the moment, but I don't know what I'm doing over there, man. That's a weird scene, man. I feel very much like I have pulled up into a rave or something, and I am me, and I'm just like, no, this is not feeling right at all. This is we do not have a match here.
Yeah.
But
That was my exit. That was my exit on the social media freeway, where I was just like, "What's that? TikTok? This is where I get off."
Nope. Oh, look, a Wendy's. I have I will be using those spaces, however, to plug the book I have coming out in the fall.
Ooh.
Which is a memoir called "No Job for a Man," which is about my my life in punk rock and sitcoms and mental health struggles and the New York City in the 70s. It's a wonderful little mishmash of why I am this way.
That sounds wonderful.
How many times do the Beastie Boys show up in the book?
You know what? I think there's one mention of the time I can't say I had pizza with Ad Rock, but it was because it was a very long table. But I was at that table, and it was before
table.
License to Ill came out.
You had pizza
but it was
near
after.
Pollywog.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But also Household Faces.
And also, I have a podcast, Household Faces, where I interview character actors. We've got some great ones coming up in the coming weeks. We have Yul Vasquez from Severance, Leslie Grossman from American Horror Story, Julia Duffy from Everything, but Newhart and Designing Women specifically. And the archives are great too. We've got Alfred Molina back there, John Carroll Lynch, Amy Hill. It's a fun. We've got close to 50 episodes now of me just doing
who of who's that?
Exactly. God damn, where were you when we were branding?
I think it's a phenomenal show, and it's because it kind of highlights my favorite aspect of show business, which is just like working class entertainers, like most of the people we know. It's like are they like household names? Like are they super famous? Or they no, but they work and they do good work and they continually work.
Our friend Seth Morris referred to them as the stonemasons of the industry. Yes. And I love that idea. And that means a great deal, Jonah. Thank you very much for saying that. But yeah, that's exactly the idea. It's people who are not hugely famous and not hugely rich, but are really in it for the love and have great stories.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Daniel Quantz.
Oh, at Daniel Quantz, Twitter and Instagram if you are into that sort of shit.
And Tony.
Wow, fucking coming up.
Twitter and Instagram at
Tony Thaxton.
and Bizarre Albums, my podcast, every Tuesday, and the Motion City Soundtrack Tour starts in June and goes into July, so get those tickets
soon.
Starting real soon, which means I'll be gone from here for a little while.
Is your mom going to fill in for you? Have you asked?
I haven't asked, but I'm going to go ahead and say no.
Oh. So did another podcast snap her up?
Yeah, she's a big Cum Town listener.
Oh my God.
I don't know. Is that a Legion of Skanks podcast?
No.
I don't even know. I just know it's a podcast. I literally don't even know what it is.
That's a real
That's a
podcast?
real
It is.
podcast.
They're
I've seen
popular
the
like
name floating around.
bread tube.
Fantastic. I have no notes, Tony Thaxton. Wonderful.
Well, this has been delightful. Thank you, everyone. Listeners, thank you for listening. I love you. You matter. Goodbye.
Hey, do you know about the Alison Rosen show?